You got it.
Yes,
Perfect.
Queen, we're on. Okay, let's get cracking. Can you see that all right, buddy?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Awesome. All right, so basically today is all about client acquisition and retention. So for any PTs, gym owners, coaches, yoga instructors, anyone really, trying to gain new clients and retain them longer. So there's just a couple of points here we're covering. This is going to be quite a diverse topic, and we can spend a lot of time talking about a lot of different facets of marketing, sales, how you run your business and what you have in place in terms of systems and how you go about getting clients. And essentially, you can build this in so many different ways, and it can work in so many different ways. But I believe there's a few nuts and bolts that will make the process easier for you, and you get a higher yield, I guess, from the work that you do, rather than it being a slog or not enjoying sales or marketing feeling fatiguing, etc. So let's get cracking. So I've got 4 points we're going to talk about here today. Clarity on your purpose and purpose of the business, purpose of the product. Clarity on the problem that you are solving, and clarity on the product and what it is and what you're delivering, and kind of what KPIs or targets you need to be hitting with that. Triple P, baby. There's a great pizza wagon in a place in New Zealand called the Triple P, and couldn't help but think about that when I got 3 P's out there. Random. Here we go. Let's continue. Second point is the customer journey. So it's incredibly important to think about and also recognize the path that the customer goes through from start to finish. So from the point of inquiry to following all the way through to signing up and getting started and beyond. So if we don't consider that and have the right things in play there, our conversion rate will likely be lower. And also the buy-in of the client to be really invested in the program long-term will increase your retention. So having really important things in the beginning there, such as in the sales process of asking them really powerful questions that will, I guess, challenge their commitment and really check them on, do you really want this now? Why is this the right time? This kind of stuff will have a profound difference on how determined they are to get a result and actually to be in it for the long term, and understanding that, not seeing this as some short-term fix and jumping in, jumping out effectively. The next one is systemize and recognize hard and smart work. So from this first point there being systemized, so actually putting systems in place in your business to make it easier for you to be in more places than one, and also to have the business working for you when you're not there or you're not actually putting time into it. So that's one thing. And also from a consistency point of view, having systems in place so that each customer receives the same journey and each lead is potentially more than one lead. And then recognizing the hard and smart work, dyslexic moment. Recognizing, I guess, tasks and things that you're doing, and there's no right and wrong here. It can be both hard and smart. You can use both, but just recognizing what things you're doing that are hard work and what things you're doing are smart work in terms of getting the results you want to achieve. And that may depend on where you are in your journey, in your confidence, in your awareness, in your audience, etc. Last point is action, consistency, and momentum. At the end of the day, we're entrepreneurs. We get distracted. We want to create lots of different products and want to solve lots of problems. And more often than not, we don't see a particular product, service, or idea through enough. We tend to move on to the next thing quickly because we're good at creating. So just a little point there on the end. Okay. Let's get cracking. I very much appreciate anyone who watches this to comment, DM me, get back to me on what your thoughts are, and also just kind of any ideas that you come up with from this workshop. Okay, next slide. So the first one, clarity on purpose, problem, and product, the Triple P. Now, to begin with, purpose. Some people won't consider this. Some people might do a business plan and write a mission statement and a vision for where they want to go with their business, or they might even do a bit of a why from the background of the product and what it's for. Usually that is something that's done in the beginning and forgotten about, or done but not really considered long term as to what benefit it's going to be. So I've got there at the beginning, a human being without purpose will not possess the drive and intention to passionately deliver quality and genuinely care and be fulfilled by the service or product. I think it's really important to recognize that whatever you're doing, for us, especially as coaches in the health and fitness industry, it's really important that you love what you do, because that comes through on the other end of sales and actual delivery of the service. And then also that you genuinely care and are fulfilled by the service. So you care about the results people are getting. You care that your product is actually making a difference in the world, and that you feel fulfilled and you enjoy it from an actual service point of view. Like it's not going to last very long if you hate doing it. It's also not going to last very long if you don't care about the results that it yields. And then from there, for longevity and the greatest possible contribution you can deliver to the world, finding clarity in what you do and why you do it. So that's just, I guess, spending the time to recognize that. I don't know if that noise in the background is a bit of interference. I'll give that a second. But longevity of the product, because when we think about it, creating a product might be fine and getting it out there, but recognizing that to really see it through successfully, it should be, a 5-year kind of delivery. And for some of us, it might be picking up PT clients, might be the start of your career. It might just be, you're looking at getting booked out within a year, and then after a year, you want to go online or whatever that might look like. But in general, you should create something with the intention for it to be fully booked, for it to be sold out, or for it to last the test of time, being 5+ years, delivering you the income and getting the results you're promising with it. So I guess it's just a little flag there to recognize, have you considered the fact that this could be something you do for 5 years? And if not, then is it the right thing for you to be doing? So I guess coming back to the purpose there, it's all about having clarity, because if we have clarity behind what we're doing, generally we'll be more efficient, we'll be more task orientated, we'll be more focused on actually getting the result, not just making money, and we'll be fulfilled by the process, meaning that we actually enjoy it, we love doing it, and we get up in the morning thinking about it, wanting to crack on, and delivering the product feels really good. It's giving back, it's enjoyable, and you can see the results and the impact you're having on the world. Because if we're not doing purposeful work, I think an element of us will be torn and broken by that, because we'll be not enjoying working for someone else, or not enjoying the grind of that same product that isn't fun effectively. So I guess just a quick flag on that one. Think about what you're delivering. Do you love delivering it? Is it enjoyable? Is it fulfilling? And is it genuinely having an impact on the group of people or the world? Next, problem. So who are you here to help, serve, and support? Really simple question. I've got a free ICA course that you can find via my Instagram or on my website. Basically, ICA being ideal customer avatar, recognizing who it's for, what's the problem you're trying to solve, and what's their pain point, what's their frustration that they're dealing with, and getting into the nitty-gritty of, why is that a problem? How long have they been putting up with that for? What effect does that have on their life to be dealing with that? What would it mean if that problem wasn't there anymore and it was solved? Like answering these kinds of questions and having that background in before creating your product and service, or delivering it, gives you a better understanding of who you're talking to, and making the sales process easier because you've got the right wording to speak to them about what they really want, as well as actually making sure you've got a comprehensive product that solves that problem and really delivers on the outcome that you're suggesting. From there, I've got that the greatest services and products in the world solve a need or desire for a group of people. So if you think about some of the great products over time, services, whatever they might be, you think about Apple, creating cool products that I guess make things more efficient, make it easier for people. And it's their biggest thing is to be different, built different, for lack of a better term. You think about the first laptop, Bill Gates, and creating a personal computer. Well, sorry, not a laptop, but the personal computer. The idea was to empower the individual so that it wasn't just these supercomputers that companies had. It was that everyone could have one. So empowering the individual is the purpose there. You think about any brand that you really like. I'm a big fan of Will & Bear, which is a hat company, actually. They've created a product that is just hats, right? But every time you buy a hat, 10 trees are planted. So for the people who are buying hats and need hats, it's also solving that desire to give back and to be a part of the world and give back and plant trees, for example. Vivo Barefoot, my favorite shoe brand, they make all sorts of kind of recycled shoes, vegan shoes. You can send your shoes back in and they get re-vivoed and given out to other people or repurposed into new shoes. But also just the actual shoe itself is completely built to service the foot in a way that it has its natural motion. Anyway, we don't need to sell Vivo, but the point is here that it really speaks to the customer. It really delivers on what that customer wants as well as needs and desires, and it solves their problem, and it also has other benefits around that as well. So I think the more the time that you can spend on researching what the problem is that you're trying to solve and the frustrations and everything else that come along with that, the more you'll be able to deliver a more comprehensive product that really solves the problem effectively. And then just as a final point for that makes sales easier and creates a tangible marker for your impact. For example, if losing fat, ripping fat off people, shredding fat, it's the target. It's an easy one, well known in our industry. It is very easy to sell losing X amount of kilos and guaranteeing that for money back or whatever it might be. It also creates a tangible marker for your impact. So, for example, I have helped over 100 people lose over 1,000 kilos, whatever it might be, and you've got real data there to use from your marketing point of view. So some may not be able to find such a tangible outcome in terms of dollars earned or kilos lost or muscle gained or kilos lifted. But if possible, create that clear outcome that solves the problem. It will be easier to sell, and it gives you a tracker for your impact in the world, I guess, or the community in general. So again, little flag, quickly think about the product you're currently delivering. Can you make it a more tangible outcome? Can you do a bit more research on what the problem is you're solving, especially speaking to people who are going through it at the moment? And more often than not, we ourselves will create a product that heals our previous self or is a service that we wish we had in the past. So recognizing that you've been there before, think about what your frustrations and your pains and what your problems were. Finally, product, when it comes to the what it must be. So this is the what being the actual service, the actual product, the nuts and bolts of it, not the emotional level, not the overarching benefits of what they'll get, but what is actually included. It needs to be something that you know a lot about and have either had personal success with or coaching success. You must be able to deliver the outcome. This is really important for me because some of us will create things that we think are great, that we like, and maybe it's the new thing that we're into, but it's not something that you had the test of time to really be able to deliver on, either with your own training or with actually coaching other people. And it doesn't have to be hundreds of testimonials and past success for you to be able to go, okay, I know the shit. It's not mastery. It's not 10,000 hours. If you can, obviously that's great, but it's more just what can you deliver on that you know that you can get the results. For example, if it's mobility, we're talking about increasing range of motion and delivering on a couple of the joint actions. Maybe it's middle split, for example. If someone has a middle split, that coach people into a better middle split, maybe family or friends or a client. And then, what can they do? What can you deliver on that you know that you can get that result? Which will make it more valuable. Someone back in here. I don't know if that's going to be really loud, but here we go. Hotel life. Next one, a solution to their problem via your unique skill set, knowledge, and creativity. Creative delivery. So, unique skill set. Number one, what makes you different in what you're delivering. It doesn't mean that no one else in the world teaches handstands, but maybe your ability to deliver handstands is different. And I've had talked to someone before how they're like, I want to teach handstands, but there's people in the world that are way better than me. There's people doing one arm, there's people doing all this kind of stuff. They're on a much higher level, which is fine, but at the end of the day, they're not speaking to exactly who you're going to be speaking to. You're going to be speaking to a very specific ICA. That's either, maybe it's a beginner, so therefore you have no crossover at all with that person. Or maybe you do have crossover, but at the end of the day, they're just going to like the way you deliver it better, the way you talk, your drills, whatever it might be. So there's no point, there is point comparing and researching what other competitors are doing, but at the end of the day, you got to think what you're doing is unique no matter what, because it's you. Your knowledge behind it, and then your creative delivery. So like I said, it could be very different just from how you deliver the course. Maybe the way you talk, maybe the way it's drip fed, maybe the way it's online, maybe the way it's in a group chat, whatever it might be. Your creative delivery will make it different as well. So you're best to research and see what other people do, but then create your hybrid version of what you think is best. And then finally, an attractive, no-brainer thing that they must have. So for example, this is just making the product easier to sell because you know it's exactly what they did in the previous research and the problem, the purpose, all the things I've just talked about. But it needs to be something that no matter what, they want it and must have it. Okay, moving forward. I really don't know how to. Can you hear me, Harry? How's that vacuum in the background? Can you hear that, or is it not too bad?
Yeah, it's good.
It's okay, not too loud. Okay, good.
Not too loud, perfect.
Loud for me, but as long as it's not loud for you, that's great. Okay, next thing, the customer journey. So start to finish. This is really important for us to consider from their onboarding to or their inquiry even, or even pre-contemplation where they're thinking about doing something about the problem that they have. We want to think about start to finish as much as we can. And then make that process as easy as possible, because that's all our sales funnel is. It's recognizing that we have to kind of win them over, plus we have to deal with the obstacles of finance, time, influence of other people, competition with other brands, products, whatever it might be. So two major points in that process that I believe need to be really smooth and efficient and really hit the mark for your ideal customer is an onboarding and a continuation. So of course there's pieces before and after this and during, but really important to have a really strong onboarding process in terms of getting them on and your sales there, and then their continuation beyond that. If you don't have those two things in place really well, you'll either fall apart getting people on, or you'll fall apart keeping people on. And that's going to be the biggest downfall of most of our businesses, because we either aren't getting, hence why you're on this call, we either aren't gaining enough clients and we're not getting enough awareness and getting enough people in the door, so to speak. And then we're also, the other flip side of that is that we have a leaky boat. That we're getting people in the door, but then they're falling off and dropping off. So let's go into a bit more depth on this. The customer journey starts with their onboarding process. So this needs to be something that I've got there, a no-brainer, too good to refuse offer. Because if your barrier to getting started is kind of high or big commitment, when you're down the track, this is fine. You're a bigger brand or you're a celebrity, or it's well enough known. Doesn't matter as much. This is in the beginning, because you don't have enough goodwill for someone to just jump on and make a purchase. Generally, we're not a well enough known, trusted source of information and knowledge, as well as recognized that we can deliver on the outcome that we're promising. So therefore, we need to build trust. We need to build goodwill, and we need to show them that we can deliver on X amount of things that we're promising or that they need help with. So must lower the barrier to getting started and building trust. Then we have a good enough goodwill to deliver the high ticket offer. Some examples of celebrities and big brands that don't need to buy this as much. We'll see big brands often do sales or launch products, or just use their high resources of money and people to be able to create really attractive videos or offers or products or things like that, just because they have high budgets for big marketing budgets, as well as they already have a bigger audience. For example, celebrities will often build a goodwill over time. Let's look at The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, for example. of course, he's been making money and delivering from movies and TV shows and wrestling, etc. But he's effectively been building an audience and been putting stuff out there for a long time, for free, so to speak, via his Instagram. And movies aren't free, but you get the idea. But then when it comes to it, if he launches, you look at the classic for the celebrities when they like Ryan Reynolds and The Rock, they often launch like an alcohol brand, for example. And Ryan Reynolds got the aviation gin, and The Rock's involved with, I can't remember which one, but either way, and his brand of the gym gear clothing as well. For example, when they launch something like that, it's going to sell hundreds, thousands, millions straight away because of the goodwill that's built up with their name, and people buy into who they are and their value and all that kind of stuff. So for us to launch something, if we were to do that kind of way, but we don't have a year to just put content out there for free and then eventually launch something, because we've built up so many people that like what we're doing because we're just doing it for free. Effectively, you're doing that with your Instagram, but we often aren't on that level, so to speak. So we need to think that we are much more in direct marketing at the moment. So we have more of a process of give, take, give a free PT session, then ask for them to pay us, give out some sort of free resource, and then ask them to pay us. So it's direct marketing compared to this goodwill marketing of give, and then get, or then ask or take, or whatever it might be. But the more we can delay that process and do more gives, the more goodwill we build and the more trust we build and the more likely we are to get the sale. So for example, what different way of looking at that is with our onboarding process and offer. We might start by, after we've had the inquiry and we've had a bit of chat and build a bit of rapport, so to speak, then we'll deliver some goodwill, which is teaching them something, maybe educating them on something that they're struggling with. Maybe it's offering them a free resource. Maybe it's a free phone call where we talk more about what they can action right now, and you're giving value to them straight away. You're building goodwill and trust. Maybe there'll be a couple of stages of that, or maybe it's just one or two, but it's enough that they've been following your content already. Give. They've then had a free resource call, whatever it might be with you. Give. And then in your pitch, in your offer, there is some sort of too good deal to refuse, which is another give. Maybe it's sign up this month and get an extra 2 free sessions, whatever it might be. There's so many ways to go about that, but recognizing that you've done give. And then at that point, they're going to go get. A good example I made up was, let's say you're walking to work every day for a month. And then every day you go past this lady who's selling organic farm table meals packaged, for your lunch. Every day she gives you one for free. You get this lunch box, effectively of delicious food. It's wonderful, it's good quality products, blah, blah, blah. And then in a month's time, after you've been having that for free every day, she goes to you, hey, look, I'm now selling t-shirts to represent my brand that will help build my brand. They're, $30, £30, whatever currency you use. Would you like to buy one? And you've just had free lunches for a month, and those lunches, let's say, were $10 each, so you've effectively had 10 by 30, $300 for free. So you go, no worries, like, I'll buy a shirt. You may never wear it, but there's goodwill there, if you know what I mean. And then if we flip it the other way around and go, okay, every day for a month, she's been trying to sell you lunch for $5 per lunch. Maybe you take it, maybe you don't. Either way, and maybe you don't take it every day. Maybe it's just some days. Then at the end of the month, she tries to sell you a shirt for $10. There's not as much goodwill there. You've been paying for stuff up until you don't feel that urge to then pay for more, if that makes sense. So whether it's guilt, whether it's, added value, however you want to look at that, the analogy is just that if we build enough goodwill, when it comes to making a purchase or a sale, the customer might feel the urge to purchase, but also it's just a no-brainer because they've been given so much value prior to that it's just an easy choice for them. There's not the hurdle of thinking about what's this going to cost me in cash flow, or I'm not going to get a good result, or I don't want to support this brand ongoing. It's an easy decision. But if they have been, pitched from the beginning and sold throughout, and it's just very money focused, then more than likely they're going to second guess that cost, that purchase, and less likely to convert, which is what it's about. We want high conversion rates. So moving on there, it comes down to your confidence and experience in terms of cost, outcome, and guarantee. So a good onboarding program should be low barrier in terms of cost and low barrier in terms of time. Now, cost, I don't mean it has to be really cheap. I just mean compared to the overall higher ticket offer of continuation offer, it's more than likely less than that, much less. And because it's a shorter amount of time, that's inevitable that it'll be like that. So I think anywhere from 50 to 500, well, free, I guess, as well. But, anyway, $50, $100 to $500. Obviously, that's different in some currencies, but is a good place to begin for an on-ramp or onboarding product where it's not a big cash flow commitment for them, but it's enough that they have some skin in the game and buy in. And then also it's a lower amount of time. So it might be a 30-day. Anything under 5 weeks, I think, is reasonable for a short-term commitment. 2 to 5 weeks kind of thing is enough to get a result is really important, but also to be able to be in it long enough that they understand what you do, they've got the value, they get a bite-sized result of what their overarching problem or desire is. So for example, if it's losing 50 kilos, it might be a 5-kilo weight loss. If it's being able to run faster for a marathon, it might be increasing their sprint time or increasing their gait or whatever it might be short term. So it's a bite-sized piece of the puzzle that makes them get a result, understand what you do, build more trust via a paid product, and then I'm going for there. Now, it's not the only way to do it. You can do free products. So for example, you could run a free 30-day challenge that within that challenge, there's room for upselling them onto more expensive products or different things or more accountability or whatever it might be. So many ways to go about that. If you want to work on that, reach out to me. It's all what my 5 in 25 course is all about. But also I'm happy to brainstorm ideas in general. So confidence. Now, as I mentioned, if you're confident, if you've sold things before, if you've been selling $100 PT sessions or 12-week programs, whatever it might be, you might be able to launch a program and sell it for $250, no worries. 30-day challenge for $250. But if you haven't done that, you haven't done PT, fresh out of your course, you're a beginner, or whatever it might be, you might be more likely to take the free route, get people on board, like build your confidence that people actually want what you have or what you're offering, and then try to upsell them within that or at the end of that. Yeah, different ways to go about it based on where you're at effectively. A guarantee can make a really big difference. So for example, if you do our 30-day challenge and you complete the workout every single day for 30 days and follow whatever other criteria we put out for you, achieve all of that, and you'll get your entire investment back towards ongoing coaching. If you lose 5 kilos in 30 days, we'll give you $100 back. If you pay $600 upfront for the 5-week program, if you complete every single session, blah, 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 you can get $250 of that back. Guarantees like this. It doesn't always have to be money. It doesn't have to be free. It doesn't have to be money back, but having a guarantee in place that makes the cost element of it disappear. The financial burden of paying money up front, knowing that they can win it back or knowing that they can get cash towards ongoing programs or whatever it might be, can take out that stress of, oh, I've got to drop $600 on this. Yeah. You move them out of that mindset, and then you move them back towards the result mindset. Outcome-based programs must deliver an outcome-based result and be a bite-sized piece of the puzzle to solving their problem and desire. As mentioned already, I think that's pretty self-explanatory, but outcome-based is key, if possible. It's not always possible for some people. I know that can be quite a struggle because they want to deliver something that's much more subjective than it is objective. But the more that you can bring that in via weight loss, kilos gained, consistency of days completed, money earned, rating of, ability in terms of what they can achieve, do, run further, whatever it might be. Outcome-based is always a much better way of going about it because it's much easier to sell and you can put a guarantee versus the outcome delivered. Okay, so a quality onboarding offer is really valuable in terms of making it easy for you to get people on board because there's a lower barrier to both commitment and cost, as well as it being an outcome-based result. So it's really attractive. Oh, it's just a short-term thing. I can get that quick fix. We don't want to build the quick fix mindset, but it is a really smart way to get people in and then onto educating them onto the longer term benefits which is what the continuation is, our next one. So this is the complete solution ideally, and maybe this is over a couple of different products, but ideally you've got one great product that can become your continuation product. And this is how you could build, if you wanted to, $1 million coaching business. So the complete solution, the longer term product that if they stick with, will give them the desired results they want. So for example, they've done a 30-day onboarding offer, let's say to lose a little bit of weight. And then the continuation product is the 12-month, 2-year program, 12-week program that they're committing to, that will, when done correctly, will be customized to them, will give them their long-term goals, will help them achieve. It doesn't customize, but you know what I mean. So it needs to be the complete solution ideally, because that's what they've come to you for, and they've built some trust, and now they know you can do it. So now we get into the full flog. Still must be attractive, outcome-based, and a smooth transition for the onboarding should continue that no-brainer feeling. So if we think about how we want to go about this, now I'll do a couple of examples. So it needs to be a smooth transition. So for example, you've done let's just use PT, a free trial session with someone. And then at the end of the free trial, you've sold them your 30-day challenge, where if they complete it, they get their money back towards ongoing coaching, blah, blah, blah. Then at the end of that, they've got the result, they've lost 3 kilos and they're feeling really good and they want to keep going, or they don't know if they want to keep going. And then you go into the continuation pitch where, Susie, you've completed such a great program. You did the 30 days, you killed it, you got a great result, well done, blah, 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 hype, hype, hype. So as you know, this weight loss game that you're playing, wanting to lose 10 kilos, this is really a 2-year goal. And I think you know that because you're smart. Yet you understand the fact that it's both a physical and a psychological change that you're going through, and that there is a length of time that it needs to be achieved in, yes, but then also a length of time it needs to be maintained beyond to make sure this is for life, because you would like to keep this weight off for life, correct? Yes, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, we're getting very salesy here, but I hope you get the idea. So what we're going to do is go on to the 12-week coaching program. And this is going to be more customized to you specifically, rather than the 30-day challenge that was built for everyone. So we can really knock off those last 7 kilos. And basically it's going to involve this. And because you achieve that result, you're going to get your $100 off because of the 30 days. So it's just going to end up being $50 a week for 12 weeks. So a couple of things that happen there. It's a smooth transition because they get their credit. So already it's like bringing the cost down, value. You've focused on what they're going to get, the outcome based. They're going to lose the next 7 kilos. They've already proved they can do it. You're going to keep going with it. You've got everything they need to be able to deliver. And then finally, you've made it really easy by bringing down what the cash flow looks like. So this is something I got from Hormozi. I probably got it from someone else, but it's down selling the upsell. They've paid, let's say, $250 up front for 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever it ends up being. But then they're going on to $50 a week. So even though $250 over a month, let's just go 200, make it real easy for me. $200 over a month is $50 a week. The cash flow was $200 up front. And now they'll go into a 12-week program where they're only paying $50 a week. Ideally, it's less, yeah, but if all they are going to see is the difference of, not all they're going to see, obviously people are smart, they figure it out, but they had to pay $200 up front, and then they only have to pay $50 a week. The no-brainer element of that's an easy drop sell. Whereas if it went from, you just pay $100 for the challenge, and now it's say $150 a week ongoing, that's steep, that hurts, that's uncomfortable for them from a financial point of view. So we just want to make that continuation sale as smooth as possible. And the things they're going to do that by continuing the outcome-based delivery of what they get next. You've just got started. So for example, that was weight loss. If we talk about something else, let's talk about sport performance maybe. So you might have increased their vertical jump in a 30-day challenge because that was the whole thing. And then you're going to go to them, look, Johnny, we've increased your vertical jump by 5 centimeters. That's just the beginning, mate. That's a huge result. It's going to make a difference to your game. But we also need to talk about speed. We need to talk about strength, skills and handling in basketball, whatever it might be. So how we're going to go about that is a customized program that's going to hit all of those areas in a 12-week block, blah, blah. You get the idea. So we want to make it a smooth transition from the outcome, from the cost, And then also anything else you can throw in there about the guarantee or the money back from the previous one, or, maybe a new guarantee, whatever you can add on to that. Because often this process goes free trial session straight into 12-week program, which is fine and works if you're good and you're confident what you do. But it's not as high a conversion rate as having an attractive no-brainer onboarding program that then rolls into a continuation that just after building all that trust and getting the starting result just continues on. Yeah, makes sense. So just to read that one more time, it still must be attractive, because it's easier just to end up throwing that a program that's not as attractive. Join our 12-week program, you get group access, you get PT sessions, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, rather than jump on this custom 12-week program where we're going to lose that extra 7 kilo. You see the difference there, yeah? I should continue that no-brainer feeling. Really important that we want to get that going. Okay, next. Cool. Yeah, let's go next. Sweet. So systemize and recognize, hard versus smart. So systemize first. Systems are a game changer. For me, this has been a really big thing. When I was managing a gym many years ago, where I guess I was in a position where I really wanted to grow the business and get new clients on and, have the right team and all that kind of stuff. And, it's very much like being an entrepreneur. It was the first time I was managing the gym. It was the first time I was more managing my own schedule. So all of a sudden I needed to be training PT clients. I needed to be getting regular emails out to the members. I need to be signing up customers. I need to be retaining customers. I needed to be making sure the payments were going through, blah, 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 blah. I took on all these extra roles, which basically meant that my time, my admin went up massively compared to just always, being on the clock of PT session, and having that easily laid out for you and being basically on the schedule of seeing person after person, to all of a sudden having to do all these admin tasks that didn't have set times to be done, by, but set allocated hours or sessions, or you know what I mean? I actually ended up trying to treat them as clients to make that transition process for me easier. But the point is here that the more that you can put systems in place, the easier it will be for your time to be able to deliver on these things. So for example, an automated system of emails that automatically goes out. You do all the work ahead of time and then they automatically deliver. Something like that. Leveraging your ability to be in more places than one, scheduling your Instagram posts, putting a system in place so that there is a sales funnel so that every customer receives the same process, the same thing, rather than someone joined up and they forgot to sign their T's and C's, and someone else joined up and they didn't get their free session and then they talk about it, all those kinds of things. So we're going to talk a little bit about that, but systems can be automated processes, and systems can also just be strategies in place so that there's consistency within the brand in how it's delivered. But you've just got to think the idea of a system is something that makes it easier and more efficient for you to get more done and to be on top of it. So we're going to go through acquisition and retention here, and then we're going to talk about hard versus smart. It's all laid out there for you already, but to start with the acquisition. So this isn't everything, but things that we need in place, I believe, in terms of systems that will make it easier and make you more consistent, is to have an outreach strategy. So this might be a 12-month calendar. This might be a monthly calendar, quarterly, 6-monthly, whatever suits you. But it's recognizing what are the things that I'm going to do to make sure that I'm getting new leads and prospecting regularly. So for example, every month we hold a free day at the local coffee shop where we, for just the morning, we put $300 on the tab, and anyone that buys a coffee there gets told that we bought it for them from our local PT studio. We also do free trial sessions as part of that. We have a letterbox where in the cafe where people can put their name and number to win free PT sessions. We have paid marketing ads on these days of this, blah, 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 blah. It's just having an actual plan in place of what are the outreach avenues we're going to do, how often are we going to do those things, and then an action plan to get them done and out there. I know that sounds really, really simple, but being consistent on that, it can be quite difficult. So then to systemize that a step further, the last Friday of every month, we plan out the strategy for the next month. Or on the 2nd of January every year, I do my 12-month marketing calendar, whatever it might be. Having that kind of control systems, strategy in place will make your role easier. A sales funnel, automations. So firstly, just talking about the sales funnel. So actually recognizing that they inquire, they have a follow-up, they get something free, they get booked in for their call or session, they get pitched, they sign up, they get hit up for a referral, and they get their onboarding email, whatever it might be. Having a process like that, making sure they all go through that will increase your conversion rate, but you can also automate stuff. You can have an automatic text that goes out that follows them up after their session. You can have an automatic email that goes out that says welcome on board and gives them their necessary info. You can have a page or a group chat or all these things where it becomes more automated for you and you're doing less work in those early phases to get them on board because there's just more value being thrown at them on an automated basis. Yeah. Referral automations. So asking for referrals is key. It's so valuable and it's not done enough. You can't ask enough, to be honest. You can be annoying, but in general, most of us don't ask enough. You don't ask, you don't get. I believe there should be referral automations in place. As soon as they sign up, they should get a follow-up referral. Like if you put them in the system, they sign, we want to set up some sort of automation, or you just have to do it yourself in the beginning of welcome on board, perfect time to get a friend or family member involved. If you get them involved as well, you're more likely to achieve your results, and you also get 5 free sessions for doing so. Automation. Birthdays, they should get an automatic happy birthday. Have you got a referral for us? Here's a voucher for your birthday. Things like that. Christmas party, whatever it might be. You should have multiple in place throughout the year, multiple in place throughout their customer journey. Maybe it's when they first sign up, maybe it's the end of their first program, when they achieve their first milestone, whatever it might be. Having those in place is really, really valuable to grow your business easily, because all of a sudden that one client you're hustling to gain a week becomes 3 because you've got all these extra systems in place to ask for referrals. Continuation plan, kind of already talked about that, but actually having the plan of how you hit them with that, when it rolls out, and what KPIs you use. So for example, in my 5 in 25 course, I have built out these Excel sheets that basically when someone does my course, all they have to input is some data about what program they launched, how much it costs their clients, how many clients they gained, and then what's their ongoing program offer rate, etc. And if I can put that data in, it will spit out to me what their return on investment is, what their projected return on investment is if the client stays on for a year, and then the potential ROI of continually working with me, which is a really valuable ongoing sales technique for me. So basically, if they do my 5 in 25, they get a good result, I can then pitch them the value of continually working with me as to what I can take their business to. So if you can have something like that, it doesn't have to be that obviously in terms of data, but something like that for the continuation. You've lost X amount of weight, you continue to lose that, you've got X amount of results. On average, my clients will achieve X amount of results by continuing with me. It makes that process easier and you have a plan in place. Prospecting for KPIs. It's a simple one. How many people do we need to be talking to? How much content do we need to be putting out there, sort of thing? In terms of our avenues and our outreach? How many eyes need to see the things we're doing? How many conversations do we need to be having? How many phone calls need to be booked? How many phone calls need to be delivered? Because that often is a different number. And then how many can we sell from those phone calls or free trials or whatever the prospecting numbers are that you use? Having things in place for that and setting KPIs around it will make a world of difference in terms of getting the result. Because as much as marketing is just throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks, actually having a high conversion rate comes down to the amount of volume you're putting out there in terms of how many people are seeing, talking, looking at, having the actual conversations and being pitched on what the product is. It's very simple when you think about it that way. If you know that you speak to 10 people and you're going to sign up one of them, because that's your past experience of how you've gone in terms of sales, then if you speak to 100 people, you're going to sign up 10 people. All of a sudden, it's very mathematical about what you need to be doing on a weekly basis to grow your business. Conversion rate, same thing, just feeding that topic there. So knowing what your conversion rate is really valuable. If you're just sending DMs and then texting them a picture of the program and then sending them the price and it goes quiet, your conversion rate is going to be quite low. But regardless, at least you know what the numbers are. Whereas if you're getting people on the phone and then you're getting them booked in and then you're having a one-on-one chat about their goals, building rapport, using a sales pitch, and then trying to convert them, you'll know that your conversion rate's higher, but you can actually start to know what your conversion rate is. You might need to have 30 phone calls to sign up 10 people. Maybe that's the data. Okay, retention. A couple of things in place here, really valuable, I believe, to keeping clients on. Now, we're going to go through what's hard and what's smart work after, but for example, with retention, dropouts are going to happen. People are going to leave your product, your business, your service. It's whatever reason it might be, and there's a heap of reasons it will be. Some are real, some are just ways of getting out. An exit interview can be a really good strategy. And when I say interview, it might be an email for feedback. It might be a call. It might be a face-to-face meetup. I've done these in the past for gyms. They are time consuming and they can be a little bit uncomfortable at times, but they can have a high yield to actually retaining the clients and not losing them completely. So for example, a client emails in that they need to cancel their program or they're done or they're not continuing going forward. You go, no worries, let's jump on a call and talk about that. I've got a few ideas of ways that you might like to stay on. I'd love to get feedback as to why. And worst case scenario, if you're moving on, I'd love to help point you in the right direction. Yeah, coming across from that kind of lens. In that exit interview, you find out the problem, what it is and why they're not continuing. If it's possible to have a counter offer to keep them on, you do that. For example, the problem is that they were doing 3 sessions a week, but they've just lost their job and they don't have the same income. You drop them back to 1 session a week or group access or whatever it might be. Or you delay their payment while they're going through this tough time or whatever it might be. Yeah, we think about, not that I loved it, but we think about COVID, rental owners often would reduce the rent of people going through tough times because they lost their job or whatever, only to delay it for the future. But, it was a potential solution for people at that time. Okay, an exit interview is really valuable. And like I said, that could be an exit email that offers them a deal straight away to continue. Everyone's been part of a membership. I think Audible is a good example where if you quit, they offer, some sort of quick deal of pay $3 and, keep your books for as long as you need or whatever it might be. Community engagement, really important. So this is just, I guess, making sure that you're constantly engaging them. And this could be via check-ins, how's your week going? Could be via everyone comment, an update for the week of how they've gone with their program this week. Whatever it might be, making sure you're engaging the people within the product service community is really valuable. If you're doing one-on-one PT, obviously that's just kind of happening, but you want to make sure that they're kind of getting involved in the community and sharing their journey with other people. But then if it's an online product or a course or an online program, it's really important to try and build community engagement and get them commenting, sharing and within the community, because that just becomes a retention tool for you. But also you're just making sure people are thinking about the product, the service, the thing all the time, daily if possible. We don't want it to be out of their mind, because the more it's out of their mind, the less they need it, the less they're probably following up and doing it, the more they're probably dropping off over time. Okay, red flags, nice and simple concept. Red flags, for example, if there's a client I'm using PT gyms as example, but you can apply this to anything. So for example, a client is doing PT sessions with you. They have access to the group classes. They have access to the events that you're doing, whatever it might be, that they just do their PT. They often cancel the session. That's a red flag. They don't go to group classes, red flag. They don't know anyone else in the gym, red flag. They haven't come to any of the events you've run or launching or extra courses you've provided, red flag, etc. You have enough of those red flags, you recognize that that person is a potential dropout already. What can you do to get them more engaged? What can you do to get them back in? Maybe this is a weekly, monthly analysis you do of your current membership and clients and figure out how to get them on board. How can you get them back in before being stuck in that exit interview process? And then the flip side, green flags, you might call them, they're attending groups, they're doing their PT sessions, they never miss a session, blah, blah. They've referred someone, all these kinds of things. So what, light and dark, what's the good, what's the bad, what's the worried, what's the safe kind of situation. Feedback opportunities, if you're not providing feedback opportunities for your clients, members, it's a missed opportunity. in terms of giving them the ability to give back, which everyone wants to do generally when they're in something, and also problem solving spot fires as they come up. For example, a client actually doesn't like the app and finds it really clunky and difficult to use. Just by taking the feedback and potentially providing it to the app developer, or even just you taking it on board that you work at fixing it in future, can put them at ease, can potentially keep them on for longer. Not doing that, they sit there hating it, they stop using the app, they drop out. Events, Christmas parties, charity events, monthly get-togethers, whatever it might be, are huge retention tools in terms of people being able to bring referrals as well, but people being able to bond with other people in the community, people being able to get extra value from what you're already delivering to them, and just different and fun and variety. Shared experience, belonging, really important that they have that belonging feature ticked off, because it's one of the basic human needs and it's one of your biggest retention tools. So maybe it's because they've got friends in the community, maybe it's because they know you and some of the other coaches, maybe it's because they get a result there, they feel comfortable there, and so many other places in their life they don't have that. If you think about the old Cheers TV show where everyone knows your name, right? I worked at a gym called Vision, and they very much use that. You look at CrossFit, it's very much community paleo eating training style. Any of the kind of culty kind of gyms, vibes, communities, businesses, brands do this really well because people feel like they belong there, and it becomes their second home. It becomes their place where they're most comfortable. So when they go through financial difficulty, tough times, whatever it might be, it's the last thing that they think about getting rid of. That's the kind of membership or business you want to have. So not only are you getting them a result and they're enjoying it, but it's somewhere they belong and they're where they want to stay. All right, so if we go back to acquisition now, we talk about hard work. Cold DMs are hard work. It's a low percentage game where you got to put a lot of volume out to get a result. It doesn't mean you can't get a result though, so it's valuable. Cold DMs, cold calls, local area, hanging out at a bus stop, talking about your program. Those things are difficult, but they do get a result. So it's recognizing that if you don't have much available to you right now, you always have those things. Yeah, and you can get a result. It's just how much time you trade for it. Letterbox drops, free time consuming offers, for example, running free PT sessions or doing free online Zooms or all these kinds of things. It's just recognizing your time for money, and you need to put a lot of volume through it to get the result. For example, I'm doing one right now, recording a free workshop that I can then send to people in future, as well as getting people on there at the time. Smart work. Now, this is work, I guess, that I'm talking about. You've still got to do work to get it going, but generally it has a higher yield for less time involved. A cross promotion with brands and influencers is you're leveraging off their audience, therefore you're getting more eyes for doing less. A cold DM is one person at a time, right? Maybe it takes you an hour to speak to 50 people, 20 people, whatever. Running a cross promotion with a brand and influencer, maybe it takes you an hour, maybe it takes longer, but it doesn't matter. You might get 1,000 eyes or more on whatever you're trying to put out there. Running competitions, win the free course, win a free session, whatever it might be. Again, people will jump at free opportunities. So you might be able to get more eyes for less there. Commissions, having other people sell your stuff. Again, time for money sort of thing. That one's more money for time. You're getting your time back, but you're paying in commission. Referral offers, crazy not to have them. They're the smartest work you'll do in terms of running them well. In the beginning, running it's a $200 program. They sign up for the month. If they pay an extra $99, their friend or family member can do it as well. Discounted, brilliant. You get people on easily, more for less. Every lead you want to be able to get more people out of. Upsells, the amount of PTs I know out there that are doing one session a week with people, or 2 sessions a week is the kind of max, and they've got this mixed schedule of half people are doing 2, half are doing 1, when all they need to do is just upsell a few more people to 2 and they'll be booked out, and they don't need to find new clients because they've already got them. Or if you think about what your offer is and what your program is, you can upsell with more accountability. Or for example, if it's an online course, you can upsell them to have weekly calls with you. If it's an online course or an online product or an online program, you can upsell them to get customized from just the previous umbrella program. Think of ways to get more out of every customer so that they get a better result, but also you can earn more per lead. dropout offers, getting people back. They're much easier and better retention to be able to get someone back than have to find someone new. Yeah, because they already know the value. They already know what you do. It's just giving them something attractive enough that they'll take it back up and resume. These aren't the only things, they're just examples. So the dropout offer would be a smarter work because that's one email out to clients you already have. You already have the email addresses. It's just creating a simple offer and you can get people back for less. Yeah, rather than trying to contact new people and having to find email addresses, for example. Retention, hard work, accountability calls, check-ins, birthday events, celebrations, exit interviews. These are all time-consuming tasks that are very good for retention though. You recognize that the hard work isn't bad. It's just recognizing that it's hard work. So for example, an accountability call every week with all your members would be tough. Regular check-ins, having to remember their birthday and doing something there. For example, smart work, automating these things, putting an automatic feedback email that goes out or within the app or the program has automatic accountability and check-ins that they take off and you see or don't see, but either way it happens. Group accountability, so having like a training buddy, they're paired up with, they keep each other accountable, putting people in semi-private groups so that they are working together to get it done. Multiple touch points within your business offer. So for example, like I said before, the person who's in the group classes comes to events, refers their friend, turns up to the seminar, logs their training weekly, has many touch points and many reasons to stay connected and within the community, within the product. Person who just does the PT session, nothing else, and also doesn't turn up that often is very likely to leave. Yeah. So rather than having to call that person heaps and checking them heaps, get them involved in the community more, the product more. All right. Whew. Last page before we kind of wrap up, which is pretty good because we're already bang on an hour now. The challenge for us as entrepreneurs is, for example, I've written there all the ideas, all the energy, excitement, enthusiasm with the best intentions to help the world, but often lack the structure, plan, and support to deliver. So we often get caught up with procrastination, distraction, and lists of half-finished tasks. Now, this isn't every entrepreneur, and this isn't everyone that is trying to gain clients and retain clients, but in the end, I do find a lot of us struggle with this. So having some things in place to make sure that you systemize, to make sure that you can be more consistent, focus on quality work rather than being bogged down and doing lots of different things. Something as simple as having a payment system in place. So you're not writing invoices and sending them as Word documents and things like that. Just having it nice and efficiently done with a payment structure like Stripe, that they can create and do for you and create subscriptions and really, really easy. Things like that mean you can put more time back into the quality things because at the end of the day, often we don't have enough time. Action, GSD. One of the things I bring up a lot in 5 and 25 is GSD, get shit done. Nice and simple. More often than not, we half finish things as mentioned. So having that intention to get it done at that time, finish the task, get things out there, deliver, ship, stop being a perfectionist, really, really valuable. So a couple of thoughts there, flip the phone on airplane mode, work in a simple and non-distracting workspace, and set a time and organize your work sessions into blocks. Really simple. I'm going to spend an hour writing out this email. I'm going to be in this room where it's just all white walls. I'm turned it away, so I'm not looking out the window. I'm being distracted and my phone's off and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Consistency. So always outworks motivation. No matter how naturally gifted an athlete is, the person who is going to be more consistent and outwork them is more often not the one that's going to get the result and win. For example, if you have gifted and consistency, then you're going to win more. But recognizing that is really valuable. We can all do the things we want to do. It's just the consistency of it. And I think 9 times out of 10, that'll be the person that resonates with what you're doing. They'll be attracted to that if you can be consistent with that, because more often than not, what we're trying to sell is usually just people aren't able to complete the implementation. We can Google how to do an audit curl. We can Google how to lose weight. We can Google how to earn more money or whatever it might be, etc. But what we're missing is the actual implementation and the accountability of doing it, and that's what they really come to you for more often than not, beyond the education. Because at the end of the day, everyone can find the knowledge out there. There is no writer's block, just keep delivering. I'm a big fan of this. I think I got it from Seth Godin, maybe. Oh no, it was Malcolm Gladwell, I believe. It was talking about the fact that there's not writer's block. It's just you're not doing it enough. Sure that you have these moments of brilliance and things like that, but the idea is that if you're just consistent and you just keep delivering, it becomes easier to keep delivering. If we don't do it as often and we get distracted and we procrastinate, we hit writer's block, for example. I really like that analogy. I think it applies to a lot of us with our work. If you just get the work done regularly, you build that habit, that practice of being able to be consistent. Thoughts become words, words become actions, actions become habits, habits become character, character becomes your destiny. Character becomes your destiny. I think a really valuable way of looking at that is thinking that's how it just can start with that small. Just think about it, verbalize it, take action on it, and then take action regularly. It becomes your character. And then from there you can build your boat. Momentum, finally, build on the previous task, build on past success. So build on what you know to be true about yourself, your capability, and your burning desire to not be mediocre, and improve the lives of your ICA, your friends, your family, and most importantly, yourself. So if you look at momentum, the best way to do it is to build on what you've done before. So it's kind of like I've launched a product before, I've sold it for $50. I can now increase my rates and I can build on that. Or I signed up one client last week by speaking to 5 people. If I speak to 10 people, I can build on that. Being able to actually critically analyze yourself, what you've done before, and build on that is key to your success. Because just in the same way we want to put more kg on the bar and progressively overload and build, we want to look at that with our business as well. How can we progressively overload in terms of volume of people? How can we scale? How can we build more and more and more? Boom. All right, that's it. So now get to it. Essentially, some tips in there, some actionable steps about your business, hopefully some really valuable stuff there about the on-ramp, onboarding, and the continuation. Missed in a lot of businesses having that correct, but hopefully some value in there. So thank you so much for watching this. If you've watched this all the way through, as mentioned there, throw me some feedback via the various ways of getting in contact. I would love to hear from you. How's that, Haz?
Awesome, bro. Loved it.
Bit of a blitz of wording. Hope you didn't fall asleep.
Yeah.
Although if you could have, if my voice is that soothing, I also don't mind.
Nah, it was good. It was good. Like, it's just, re-emphasizing those ideas again, and then that we kind of discussed, and then just getting through the